Chapter 1 to 9, The Might of Lai Shen. God Lai is terrifying. Pfft. Teacher Zhu smiled. I don't have a girlfriend. Besides, earning a little extra money to help out at home has nothing to do with whether I have a girlfriend or not. Chen Donglai nodded. Teacher Zhu, you're absolutely right. By the way, do you have any hobbies? After sitting down, he avoided mentioning tutoring at all costs and started rambling about random topics. Teacher Zhu replied casually, Oh, I like fencing. Chen Donglai froze. Fencing? After being influenced by Disuang these days, he'd long since learned the other meaning of this word. This teacher Zhu looked gentle and refined. Who would be thought he'd be into that? Chen Donglai subtly shrank back in his seat. Teacher Zhu, however, seemed to have opened up. I won second place in the city competition the year before last, but I've put this hobby on hold since I started working 2 years ago. Chen Donglai suddenly realized, Oh, so you meant this kind of fencing. Teacher Zhu looked at him in confusion. What other kind of fencing is there? What did you think I meant? Haha, I also thought you meant this kind of fencing. Chen Donglai laughed awkwardly. Fencing is great, it builds strength and keeps you fit. He glanced at Teacher Zhu's hair. Teacher Zhu, your hairstyle doesn't look that good. To be honest, Teacher Zhu touched his hair. Really? Chen Yuan had just taken a sip of tea when his phone rang. He picked it up from the desk and saw it was a call from the variety show crew. Glancing at the drone, he answered, What's wrong? You guys rarely contact me proactively. Chen Yuan, hurry and stop your dad. He took the tutor to a hair salon. Chen Yuan almost spat out his tea. After calming down, he said, A hair salon? It's just a haircut, totally legitimate. What's the problem? Even as he spoke, he felt his confidence wavering. A hair salon? And he took the tutor with him? Lai Zi, you've got some wild moves. The crew replied, If it were just a haircut, that'd be fine, but they were talking about going to a bathhouse later for a full package. As soon as he heard that, Chen Yuan felt his breath catch. Oh my God, that's way too reckless. A haircut would have been bad enough, but a full package? He thought to himself, I haven't even seen what a full package is. Don panic. Maybe they were just talking casually. I'll call him right away. All right, but this is a live broadcast. You can't let him mess around. I understand. After hanging up, Chen Yuan rubbed his temples. Lai Zi, you're really asking for trouble. He was supposed to be a middle school student, yet he was going for a haircut and planning a full package. Worst of all, the tutor was going along with this nonsense. What the hell? He thought. I paid you to tutor him, not to play with him. Chen Yuan opened the live stream app, switched to his dad's channel, and sure enough, he saw the two of them lying in the hair salon. Chen Donglai had a look of pure enjoyment on his face. Brother, see? I didn't lie to you, their hair washes here are so comfortable. Brother Chen, you're right. Teacher Zhu agreed. I had no idea there was such a great hair salon around here. Chen Yuan couldn't help but exclaim inwardly, You're already calling each other. Brother, if I don't stop you, will you go get barbecue after the full package kowtow to each other and make me gain an uncle out of nowhere? My dear Dad. He closed the live stream and made a call. Chen Dong Lai was entitled to use electronic devices, but he had teacher Zhu's contact info from the tutoring app. He quickly found the number and dialed it. Teacher Zhu, you're having a great time, huh? He said coldly. I hired you to tutor him, but you're off at a hair salon instead? What's next are you planning? That full package, this was all my idea. It has nothing to do with your dad. Teacher Zhu hurried to explain. How loyal of you. Chen Yuan snapped. Get back home right now and tutor him. Otherwise I'll give you a own star review and file a complaint. What? Chen Yuan felt a splitting headache. That Chen Dong Lai is such a bad influence. He even led the tutor astray. He opened his phone and watched the two of them head back home on the live stream, probably realizing Chen Yuan was watching the broadcast. Chen Dong Lai stood tall and proud in front of the drone as soon as he got home. He cleared his throat and recited loudly, studying is precious, but freedom is more valuable. If it's for a club, referring to the bathhouse, both can be given up. Chen Yuan almost smashed his phone. You rebellious dad, he thought. Not only are you rebelling, but you're also twisting famous poems. How am I supposed to deal with you? Teacher Zhu tried to persuade him. Brother Chen, your kid, meaning Chen Yuan, has it hard too. You should hurry up and do your homework. Wait until the show ends and you win the prize, then we'll go fulfill our ambition together. Chen Yuan quickly checked the comments section. Lai Shen God Lai is awesome. Voice cracking. Lai Z is YYDS the best of all time. Ah, if it's for a club, both can be given up. That it's right where it hurts. Lai Z, wait for me after the show. I'll take you to Flywheel Neverland. Lai Z, have you forgotten about your sister? Why let those ordinary women touch your sacred body? Woo! Your body belongs to me. Chen Yuan was so shocked he quickly turned off the comments. What is wrong with these people? He thought. They Ray acting like they Ray dying or something. Chen Yuan closed the live stream and rubbed his throbbing head, having a rebellious son who twists poems and leaves people speechless. What am I going to do? He poured himself another cup of tea, trying to turn my dad into a successful person is way too hard. To make sure Chen Dong Lai didn't cause any more trouble, Chen Yuan checked the live stream every now and then. For the rest of the morning, things were relatively calm. At noon, the two put on a show of brotherly affection. Chen Dong Lai wanted to treat Teacher Zhu to lunch, but Teacher Zhu, who'd already received a warning, refused firmly. They parted ways reluctantly. Chen Yuan opened the tutoring app and gave Teacher Zhu a own star review without hesitation. Even someone as lenient as me can't stand this, he thought. That tutor has no willpower at all. He led my Lai Z astray. Serves you right for being unreliable. I'll deduct your bonus. A 1-star review would just cost Teacher Zhu some money, but Chen Yuan decided not to file a complaint. Angry as he was still reasonable. He knew Chen Dong Lai was the one who started this mess. Chen Yuan put down his phone. Today was supposed to be Anna's relaxed day, but those two ruined it. He thought, I'm so angry I could die. Just then, the office door creaked open. Dong Wanyi stuck her head in. It's time for lunch, she said. After that, the sound of her high heels faded away. She probably left first. Chen Yuan rubbed his nose. Right, it's lunchtime. He put on his jacket, walked out, and closed the door behind him. He headed to the cafeteria on the first floor alone. Along the way, he kept running into employees who just finished eating. Every single one greeted him warmly, and Chen Yuan nodded in response. Chairman, we all watched your performance. Last night you were amazing. Yeah, who would be thought the chairman is also a musical genius. Chapter 130. This streamer is getting more and more professional. Chen Yuan had always remained calm in the face of praise. He waved a hand lightly. That was just a casual performance, nothing special. The employees were deeply impressed by their boss's modest showmanship. Amazing! A casual song that's no less than a classic. Our boss is just being low-key. Boss, you're truly humble. They gushed again. Chen Yuan waved them off and walked into the cafeteria. Even as he left, he could hear their chatter. A talented young man like the boss could definitely be a top celebrity if he entered the entertainment industry. Yeah, he's pretty good looking too. Once he's an adult, he'll definitely have tons of fans. I watched the clips online. Even though the audio was a bit distorted, it was still amazing, especially his impromptu lyric rewrite. His talent is almost on par with his dad's. Chen Yuan shook his head with a contented smile. These people really only tell the truth, he thought. You guys totally deserve a raise. Since he'd missed the lunch rush, there weren't too many people in the cafeteria when he arrived. He immediately spotted Dong Wanyi sitting alone by the window. In the corner and next to her, Dong Jiangguo, who was chatting and laughing with his daughter. Chen Yuan got his meal, carried the tray over to their table, and Dong Jiangguo quickly stood up to make space for him. Thank you, Chen Yuan said, placing his tray down and nodding at Old Dong. Old Dong hurried to reply. It's my pleasure, Chairman. Dong Wanyi only gave Chen Yuan a quick glance and said nothing. Chen Yuan casually turned to Dong Jiangguo and asked Old Dong, did you offend your daughter at home? Why she had a cold face all day? Dong Jiangguo immediately looked wronged. Chairman, she moved out a long time ago. Besides, how could I ever offend my own daughter? She's like my down jacket in summer, my most precious treasure. Dong Wanyi rolled her eyes at her dad, then turned to Chen Yuan. What does my mood have to do with you? As long as I don't slack off at work, it's none of your business. Well said. Chen Yuan took a satisfying sip of soup. Right, I was actually planning to take you out to relax this afternoon, but since it's none of my business, I guess I'll cancel that. Relax? Dong Wanyi gave him a skeptical look. Where were you planning to go? Chen Yuan shrugged. Wherever it was. It probably doesn't concern you either. No need for me to explain. Dong Wanyi was left tongue-tied. Dong Jiangguo, sensing an opportunity, tentatively asked, "Is this about the negotiation for the commercial building?" Chen Yuan nodded. "Yeah, we're heading over to talk it to this afternoon." Dong Jiangguo's face lit up. "I'm familiar with that kind of stuff. Take me with you." Even though there was no direct benefit in joining the negotiation, it would broaden his horizons, let him meet more people, and help him understand how a commercial building operates. Most important lie. Being invited to such an event would prove he was one of Chen Yuan's trusted right-hand men. No wonder Dong Jiangguo was so eager. Chen Yuan looked at him and said, "Old Dong, we can't afford to leave the company short-handed. You'll have to make do with staying here to keep an eye on things. People bring elites pretty secretaries or beautiful assistants to negotiations," he thought. "You want me to bring someone who looks like a winter melon? Do I have no pride?" Dong Jiangguo immediately understood what Chen Yuan meant. He deflated slightly. "All right, I'll stay at the company then." After he spoke, both men turned their eyes to Dong Wanyi. Chen Yuan's thoughts were simple. "I didn't have a pretty secretary or assistant, so grabbing someone temporarily makes sense." Dong Wanyi frowned. "Why are you both looking at me?" Chen Yuan cleared his throat. "I know you're in a bad mood. How about I take you out to distract yourself? And maybe help me hold the fort a little." Dong Wanyi had already wanted to go when she heard Chen Yuan say she'd be helping him hold the fort. A faint warmth stirred in her heart. "Hey, I'm fine. I didn't have anything to do this afternoon anyway. I'll do you this favor," she said, trying to sound reluctant. But the small smile tugging at her lips gave her away. Chen Yuan shook his head inwardly. Women really are something else. Even though Dong Jiangguo could go himself, he was still happy his daughter could. Chairman, eat while it's shot. Let's not let the food get cold. After lunch, Chen Yuan chatted and laughed with the father and daughter as they headed upstairs. Back in his office, he took off his jacket, walked into the inner lounge, lay down on the sofa with his clothes still on, and pulled out his phone. Watching gameplay videos always got him excited, and he still wanted to take a nap, so he didn't open any games. Instead, he clicked on the live stream app. His own stream had around 70,000 to 80,000 viewers, and the comments covered a wide range of topics. Next, he opened the second stream. Wang Mantong was still selling fruit at her stall. It was the middle of the day, so naturally, no one was buying fruit. Wang Mantong sat listlessly under a tree with a small fan, chatting on and off with an old shoemaker nearby, probably from spending too much time in the sun. Her skin looked even darker than before. To be Hone Street, Wang Mantong in this second stream was really hard-working, but her personality. Chen Yuan couldn't control others, but he knew he really didn't like this kind of green tea attitude. The second stream had very low viewership, only around 1,000 people, and most of the comments praised Wang Mantong for being hard-working and simple. Chen Yuan shook his head as he lay on the sofa. as if to show he was completely uninterested. Next, he opened the third stream. As expected, Li Zuer was still playing games. Ever since she stepped into the world of game streaming, it was like she discovered a new universe. She played games for at least 8 hours every day, coquettishly asking for gifts and skill, fully shouting slogans like Big Brother 666 and Big Brother 777. Chen Yuan checked the platform earnings. This girl had made over 1,000 yuan on her first day. She'd already earned 800 yuans that morning, and with the afternoon's earnings, she'd easily make over 1,500 yuans that day. No wonder she'd stopped going to the bar. She clearly tasted the sweet profits of game streaming. 1,500 yuans a day. Even I am a little jealous, he thought. Unfortunately, I'm destined to never endure the late nights that streamers have to put up with. I'll just have to settle for earning a modest 200 million yuans a day. As he watched the stream, Chen Yuan actually fell asleep. A knock on the door woke him up. He rubbed his face, walked out of the lounge and called out, "Come in." Xiao Luo pushed the door open and walked in. "Chairman, did you just wake up?" Chen Yuan took a sip of cold tea. "Yeah, I just took a nap." Xiao Luo was speechless. He couldn't help but wonder if the boss would forget this important negotiation if he hadn't come to remind him. I've drafted the documents and the preliminary acquisition contract. Please take a look, Xiao Luo said, handing over the papers in his hand. Chen Yuan took them and flipped through them. They were pretty standard, nothing out of the ordinary. Chapter 131, Black Silk YYDS. Of course, legal affairs aren't like composing poems. There can't be any novel changes. Okay, Chen Yuan checked the time. There's still a quarter of an hour left. Sit down and rest for a while. Xiao Luo sat down opposite him. Chairman, this time I've found 2 relevant personnel, and we'll go over together. Chen Yuan nodded and poured a cup of the freshly brewed tea for Xiao Luo. All right, having more professionals is good for discussion. As Chen Yuan spoke, he took out his phone and sent a text message to Dong Wanyi, telling her that the time was almost up and asking her to come over. Soon there was a knock on the door. "Come in." Dong Wanyi walked in. Xiao Luo casually turned his head, but almost twisted his neck. Dong Wanyi looked very beautiful today. Her originally delicate face was lightly made up, making her even more charming. Even Chen Yuan, who saw her often, was a little amazed. Short skirt and black silk, even as work attire, still made her radiant charm. Chen Yuan nodded at Dong Wanyi. "You dressed so nice lie. You'll definitely bring honor to our company later, and you're a bit, and temporarily be my secretary." Dong Wanyi took a few steps forward, looked at Lawyer Xiao, who was still in a daze, and then said to Chen Yuan with a hint of displeasure in her tone, "Be a secretary? You asked me to come over just to be your secretary?" Chen Yuan coughed. "Of course, considering that you hold multiple positions, I've prepared a bonus for you today. 5,000 yuan. Dong Wanyi immediately lost her temper. What's the difference in what to do? Not to mention there's extra income. It's not about the money. Main lie I want to experience. Other professions. Chen Yuan nodded. It's very convincing. But why don't I believe it? This is Xiaoluo Director Xiao, in charge of the legal department. He also put in a lot of effort in the acquisition of the commercial building this time. Director Xiao, this is Dong Wanyi, the manager of the mobile games department. Xiaoluo quickly stood up and extended his hand. Hello. Dong Wanyi didn't extend her hand, but just smiled politely. Congratulations to Director Xiao on joining our Yuan Shen network. Xiaoluo awkwardly withdrew his hand. Chen Yuan smiled inwardly. Dong Wanyi was still as arrogant as before. She didn't even give face to someone like Xiaoluo, who was in the legal profession. From now on, we are all colleagues. Let's sit down and chat. Chen Yuan spoke to resolve Xiaoluo's little awkwardness. In the live broadcast room, oh my god, Dong Wanyi is really sexy today. Goddess. Don't be deceived by Chen Yuan. Wait for me. I'm still a tiny bit away from being the world's richest man. Black Silk YYDS. Haha. I feel like that Xiaoluo is really awkward. Yuanshan, when will you win Miss Dong? The one upstairs, you're really a pun. Sounds like awful in Chinese slang. Yuan Shen is only 14 years old and is growing. You actually want him to. Beast. This kind of thing should be left to me. I'm an adult. Men and men are true love. This time a total of 5 people went to the commercial building, except for Chen Yuan and Dong Wanyi. The other 3 were all newly recruited personnel from the legal department, all wearing suits and leather shoes. Chen Yuan and Dong Wanyi walked in front. Dong Wanyi held a briefcase in her left hand and an umbrella in her right hand. The originally dazzling black silk was even more charming in the bright environment. Chen Yuan walked beside her because he was afraid of being exposed to the scorching sun. Chen Yuan was relatively close to Dong Wanyi, just in the shade of the umbrella. Although they were very close, Chen Yuan didn't look sideways. It was for other reasons, but because of the height difference. Turning his head would be impolite, and looking down would be taking advantage. Moreover, the drone was right behind. If he just turned his head to look, he would be dissed by netizens. There are quite a few trolls and people with strange thoughts these days. If he really looked a few times, there would definitely be rumors that Chen Yuan likes Dong Wanyi again. The group of 5 soon entered the building. The security guard at the door seemed to know they were coming and didn't stop them at all. Entering the commercial building, there was a young and beautiful receptionist. When she saw Chen Yuan and others, she immediately came out from behind the reception desk. You are from Yuanshan Network, right? Our boss has already instructed that you can go directly to the top floor conference room on the 25th floor when you arrive. The group then took the elevator under the guidance of the receptionist. Because the building was newly completed and no companies had moved in yet, it was naturally very deserted. The elevator went directly to the 25th floor. Maybe the receptionist had already informed them, because when the elevator door opened, there were already people in suits waiting outside. Mr. Chen, right? Our boss has been waiting for you. Please follow me. They followed the person through the corridor and came to the conference room. After pushing open the door of the conference room, Chen Yuan saw the people inside. 5 people were sitting in their seats waiting. Boss, Mr. Chen from Yuanshan Network is here. The 5 people in their seats all stood up. After Chen Yuan walked in, he saw the 5 people clearly. The person in the middle was wearing a designer suit, about 20 years old, about 1.8 meters tall, and quite handsome in appearance. Chen Yuan immediately understood that this person in the middle should be the owner of the commercial building. It's just that he looks very young. He is presumably a direct line scion of the Zhang group. Chen Yuan, right? You are younger than I imagined. After the young man stood up, he greeted Chen Yuan with a smile. Several games developed by your company are all my favorites. As he spoke, he had already stood opposite Chen Yuan and took the initiative to extend his hand. Chen Yuan shook hands with him. You are also younger than I expected. The young man shrugged. I can't help it. My family gave me a building to let me practice. Chen Yuan felt envious for the first time. The family casually gave a building to practice with. A building worth more than 1 billion yuan is casually used for practice. He also wants such a family. This is a real rich second generation.